Hey friend, welcome to the Badass is the New Black podcast, where our motto is done is better than perfect. I'm Chrissy Chin, here on a mission to help you grow your business online, turn your leads into lifelong customers, and scale to six figures and beyond so you can work less and enjoy and earn a whole lot more. Most importantly, I'm a laid-back wife, a mom, a friend who started as a peds nurse, turned network marketer, and now a serial entrepreneur. This podcast is for ambitious people with an idea, a vision, but no idea how to get there. On this podcast, I'll give actionable steps to keep you moving forward while you learn new business strategies, better systems and processes, marketing, sales, all the things you need to build and scale a blissful business that keeps your pocketbooks growing. Grab a beverage, open up your notes app, and let's get to it. Welcome back to the Badass is the New Black podcast. I'm your host, Chrissy Chin. You're listening to Season 5, Episode 5, and we're talking about copywriting tips, super effective tips to help you as a coach, or even if you're in the direct sales space is going to be beneficial for you, and helping you connect with your audience. Now, your copy is an essential part of marketing your business. Online written communication, aka copywriting. You need to write social media content, emails, website content, sales pages. There's a whole lot more that you end up writing all the time. And I want to share with you some of the best ways to create an emotional connection with your ideal customer, your target audience, make more sales, and sell out your programs to your dream clients. So as a coach, you're passionate about helping people improve their lives, right? Achieve their goals, maybe be the happiest, the healthiest that they can be. And in order to do so, it's very, very important to effectively communicate the value of your offers, the programs to potential clients so that you can keep reaching your big business goals. And if the copy isn't there, so much of what people engage with, some is video, some is voice, right? If you're watching on the YouTube channel, you're watching video, if you're listening to the podcast, but maybe you're reading the blog. And so there's copy there, and even copy that I write, notes that I write to put this content together. So it needs to be effective. So I'm going to give you 5 tips to help you become a better copywriter, because that's one of the hats that you're putting on in your business, at least in the beginning, if you haven't hired a copywriter for you. So number 1, lean into great storytelling for deeper connection. People love a good story, and incorporating storytelling into your copy can make your message more engaging and more memorable. So share personal anecdotes or testimonials from past clients. And if you're just starting out, use yourself as your best client. Okay, so if you're like, I don't have any clients, I don't have any testimonials, you're likely teaching and sharing or helping people with something that you've helped yourself with. So you can be your best testimonial until you have a client, or you do a trade service. Maybe you do a trade to get your first testimonial. You've been self-coaching for years at least, so don't be shy about sharing that. And I always thought it was weird to tell personal stories about whatever to my audience, but it really gets them to know you. So if you've listened to the podcast long enough, or if you do, or go back and listen to past episodes, you're going to learn about my husband, maybe our relationship a little. You're going to hear about my kids and maybe some of the things that they say, or the lessons that I've taken in from being with them, or lessons or things I've taken away from my walks with my dog in the morning. And the cool part about storytelling is that it really goes to a particular part of the brain, and the person listening, then you're telling a story about yourself, but the person listening is putting themselves in that story as if it was them living it. And it allows them to remember it easier and be able to recall it. Really, I can remember speakers, and actually I don't even remember what some of the topics were, but I just remember that they told a very embarrassing story about getting waxed, or, just like these bizarre stories. And even though I might not remember the message that they shared there, I'll always remember her. I'll always picture her. I'll always picture her talking about the story where she showed up at her friend's door and just opened up her robe and just had this horrible waxing incident, right? Like, that's always going to stick in my mind. So even if if they're not remembering the message, they're remembering you. So that's all I have about storytelling. Incorporate it into your copy. It spices things up a little and it gets them to know you. And as long as you're talking about something relevant in your story that's going to help them, that's going to be beneficial. Number 2, know your audience inside and out. So before you start writing, it's really important to consider who you're trying to reach with your message. Are you really clear on who your dream client is? Do you know their specific pain points? Can you empathize with where they are while empowering them to change? Understanding your audience will help you tailor your message and choose the right words and tone. I just spent a couple of days writing a ton of promotional content. And every time before I started writing, I would sit down at my desk and I would, turn my computer on and pull up the relevant documents. And then I would go straight to my ideal client avatar for the program that I'm writing about, because we do have different avatars for different things sometimes. And so I have a written profile and I would read through that profile. Every time I sit down to write a new chapter in my book, I go back to read the back cover that we wrote in the very beginning that I worked with the coach on writing. And I read that because that helps bring it fresh into my mind. Who am I speaking to? Okay, for the book, I'm speaking to a solo entrepreneur that really wants to become more systemized, leverage automation, work more efficiently, and really build their business with systems and automation so they can spend more time with their family and less time working, right? While they're earning more money. And so getting really clear on that every time I sit down and write to know who am I writing to, it makes the words come out a lot easier and it's going to connect with them a lot deeper. Okay. We had a student in the last round of Build a Blissful Business, and she shared with me recently, we hopped on a call. So I want to get some feedback. I wanted to share with her some of these awesome things that we're changing in the program when we launch it again in April. And she shared with me that when she heard about the program, she was like, I don't know, like, I feel like I've had some of these trainings before, but she was like, I'm in, let's do it. And she said within the first branding lesson where, we do end up talking about ideal client avatar, she said, when I did the first lesson, I knew that this program was going to be different. It wasn't going to be like anything else I had done. It was going to have me doing some much deeper work. And she goes, it was a game changer for every other program that I've done. This program, the things that you had us do, the exercises, and when it came to my ideal client avatar, so many light bulb moments, and it allowed me to just get really deep, connect, and know exactly who I'm speaking to and feel confident speaking to them. And she said that was the first time, and I've done tons of trainings on my ideal client avatar. Everyone has a training out there about it, but there are some things that we have our students do that are different than anything I've seen before to really kind of help you dive in. So when you get to that point of setting up your ideal client avatar, things just kind of flow a lot easier and it brings you this clarity a lot quicker. So that was really fun. I've heard that before, that the way that we teach is different, that it really helps people get really clear, and I put a lot of stress on this part with the branding and the foundation before we dive into, setting up funnels and systems and automating and website, because it is the most important part. If you get it wrong, it is one of the key reasons that you aren't finding the right people for your business, or that people aren't buying. No matter how good your offers or your products are, you have to know this really well and some of these key things. And just by the way, this program, Build a Blissful Business, previously called Digital Duplication Academy, is opening its doors in April. So if you've heard me talk about that program before, the doors are opening in April. I will put the link in the show notes to get on the wait list. So if you've kind of been waiting for it to come back, because the doors aren't open all the time, get on that list. If you're interested in diving deep, getting clear on your brand, your audience, and offer, and then getting your business online with a website, leveraging systems, automation, to work a whole lot less and earn a whole lot more, that program's going to be for you. So get on the wait list. I'll leave the link in the show notes. All right. I digress back to our list. Number 3 is getting clear and descriptive language, or using clear. Did I say getting? Using clear and descriptive language to make a bigger impact with your words. So rather than using passive language or abstract concepts, use colorful and creative language to paint a picture with your words. So for example, instead of saying, gain the confidence you need to speak on stage, So maybe your program is helping someone become a better speaker on stage, right? So instead of saying that, say step onto any stage, radiating with magnetic energy that entices your audience and keeps them on the edge of their seat with interest and intrigue. That definitely paints a different picture. It's a bit more exciting. You're like, ooh, I definitely want the people who I'm speaking to be on the edge of their seat with interest and intrigue. This shift in language makes the message more direct and more powerful. And I also like to think about this as, I describe it as 3D copy, 3D language. It really paints this, you want to use language that really paints a 3D picture. Things like, just saying, so you can level up. Take it to the next level. Those things, that's just very vague coaching language. I want you to say things that can really paint a real picture. And this is why number 2 that we just talked about, knowing your ideal client avatar inside and out, is incredibly important, because you will be describing how they feel, what they're doing, what they wish they could do. Paint a real picture for them. Use specific examples. I know in the promo copy, I talked about, gave some examples on you wish you could be, taking the day off and going to get your nails painted, right? Not taking, time off to do whatever it is you want. Like, I'm painting these real pictures and knowing that my ideal client avatar would love to just go off and get a mani-pedi with their friends. Okay. And you might not want that, but there are other examples where I'm kind of describing that person, and so it's going to draw them in. So just creating that real picture for them so that they can imagine it in their mind's eye. Number 4, focus on the what, not the how. People always want to know what's in it for them, instead of going into great detail about how many modules they'll get or how many hours of extra bonuses trainings. And before I get onto that, I was just reviewing someone's sales page in a community that I'm in, and he kept emphasizing that he was teaching music, how to get better tone with the saxophone. And he kept emphasizing that there were 41 plus lessons. And I was like, let's remove that. People that almost actually feels overwhelming if you're like, there's 50 lessons, and they don't care. Sometimes less is more. So describe it in a different way. Short, easy to follow lessons could be more enticing than you'll get 41 lessons, right? So people don't want to know how many hours of extra bonuses. They want to know what they're going to get out of those bonuses, or the small details of how you're going to help them. Talk about who they are going to be once they're done working with you. What are the results that they can expect? Why should they get excited about working with you? What makes it the obvious choice to sign up for your program and buy versus someone else. Elaborate on the person that they'll become on the other side of your time together. This is what we call really casting the vision, and it's an important part of writing, so make sure you're incorporating it. And this is actually a little expert tip. This isn't in the blog. Some of these stories aren't in the blog, so I hope you're tuning into the podcast and the YouTube videos regularly and not just reading, because I share extra stories here. But if you are offering a type of product or something that is not solving a problem. Let's say you're an artist and you're selling your art. You're not really solving a problem. What the problem is, I have bare walls. So you're actually going to use this vision of, describing how they feel when they walk into a space when there's beautiful modern art hanging or whatever. So painting that picture for them, casting the vision there. So this is a big strategy for those that aren't really trying to poke at the problem, but use this vision. And then number 5, include a call to action. At the end of your copy, be sure that there's a very clear and specific call to action that tells the reader what you want them to do next. This could be signing up for your freebie opt-in. It could be engaging with the content by leaving a comment, or simply contacting you to learn more about your programs, setting up or booking a discovery call with you, whatever it is that you want them to do. You need to be clear on it. Make it really easy for them to do that next step and tell them exactly what they will do. You'll be surprised with how well people can follow directions when they are simple. Okay? People actually don't follow directions if they're complicated. They only follow them if they're simple. So keep your call to actions, your action step, what you want them to do, very simple. All right, by following these really quick copy tips, you can effectively communicate the value of your coaching service or your products and inspire others to work with you. Remember to always be authentic and genuine in your message and use conversational copy. That means write like you talk so that it sounds like you. And just stay true to you and your unique voice. If you found this episode helpful and are enjoying the season of short and sweet tips, let me know in the comments on YouTube or leave a review on podcast. I have 2 freebies for you depending on where you are in your business, so listen to both and decide which one's for you. If you have a website and you aren't sure that you are writing it in an effective way, maybe you've had some trouble getting people to opt in, things like that, hop over to thechrisychin.com/website review. Answer 5 quick questions and find out if your website has everything that you need. Once you're done, I will give you the opportunity to grab a free guide and tell you how to make improvements. And one of those tips is specifically about the copy on your About page. And it's a critical piece that most people miss when writing their website copy. Whenever I'm reviewing websites, I'm always like, oh, they're missing it again. So I'm going to give you that tip in there. So again, thechrisychin.com/website review. Answer the 5 questions, super easy. It'll take you right to the guide. And if you don't have a website yet and you're just starting with your business, or you're thinking about expanding your direct sales business, adding on your own offer, or maybe you just feel like things aren't aligned right now and I just need to I've grown, I've evolved, I need to rebrand, grab my free guide, Turn Your Knowledge into Profit. And this is where I'm going to help you get really clear on your offer and tell you how to launch it in the next 3 weeks so you can start earning an extra income ASAP. So go to thechrisychin.com/profit. The links will be in the show notes or in the YouTube description. I cannot wait to see you next week. We have an amazing episode coming up for you. And that's it. Go take imperfect action. Do something. Look silly. Step outside your comfort zone. It's the only way that we grow and expand, and you need that to move forward. So we'll see you next week. Thank you so much for tuning in. If you got some value out of this episode, I would love some support. And the best way to do that so I can keep showering you with loads of actionable tips is to hit that subscribe button. Leave a review or a comment if you're on YouTube, and share this podcast with a friend. And when you share it with a friend on social, please tag me so I can reshare your share in my stories. It's been an absolute pleasure hanging out. I appreciate the heck out of you for showing up. And now it's time for you to take imperfect action so you can work less and enjoy and earn a whole lot more.